In the intricate landscape of Canadian fiscal policies, Justin Trudeau's steadfast advocacy for the carbon tax unfolds as a perplexing venture with far-reaching repercussions for everyday Canadians. An in-depth analysis of this tax reveals not only its environmental inadequacies, but also the profound economic burdens it imposes on hard-working citizens, painting a complex portrait of policy decisions in a nation grappling with the fallout of imprudent economic strategies. Trudeau's commitment to the carbon tax becomes even more confounding when examining its impact on businesses, the lifeblood of any thriving economy. The added costs imposed by the carbon tax, especially in industries reliant on transportation and energy, strain profit margins and hinder competitiveness. This ripple effect not only jeopardizes the economic health of businesses, but also poses a threat to job creation, a critical factor in any nation's economic resilience. Consider the plight of small businesses which form the backbone of Canada's economy. The carbon tax, with its cascading effects on operational costs, places an undue burden on these enterprises, stifling their ability to grow and innovate. This economic strain, particularly in the wake of the global economic uncertainty, raises pertinent questions about the sustainability and wisdom of a policy that seems to amplify challenges rather than fostering a conducive environment for economic prosperity. Furthermore, the economic impact of Trudeau's carbon tax extends beyond domestic borders. In a globalized world where competitiveness is key, the imposition of carbon taxes on Canadian businesses places them at a disadvantage against competitors in countries without such levies. This raises concerns about the long-term viability of Canadian businesses in an increasingly competitive global market, potentially leading to a hollowing out of certain industries and the exportation of jobs. As Canadians grapple with the economic ramifications of Trudeau's carbon tax, the question of its alignment with Keynesian economic principles becomes increasingly pertinent. Keynesian economics advocates for targeted fiscal policies that stimulate economic activity during downturns. However, the regressive nature of the carbon tax, particularly in its disproportionate impact on lower and middle-income households, seems to diverge from the principles of equitable economic stimulation. The looming specter of a second carbon tax, embedded within fuel regulations, adds another layer of concern. The anticipated increase in gas prices and the absence of rebates intensify the economic strain on households, particularly those already vulnerable. As the Parliamentary Budget Officer notes, the disproportionate impact on specific demographics, such as single mothers and seniors on fixed incomes, raises ethical concerns about the societal implications of such taxation. Delving into the economic philosophy of John Maynard Keynes, the carbon tax's purported environmental objectives start to look more like a smokescreen for an alternative agenda: revenue generation. The Parliamentary Budget Officer's warning that the second carbon tax will disproportionately impact vulnerable groups underscores the regressive nature of such taxation. In an era where responsible economic policy should strive for inclusivity and shared burdens, the carbon tax appears as a stark departure from Keynesian principles. As Canadians face the prospect of shouldering the economic burden of Trudeau's carbon tax policies, there arises a pressing need for a re-evaluation of the government's economic strategy. In the spirit of Keynesian economic principles, which advocate for targeted and responsible fiscal policies, the carbon tax appears as a misguided endeavor. It not only fails to achieve its environmental objectives, but also threatens to exacerbate economic inequalities and burdens in a nation already grappling with the aftermath of imprudent government spending. The question that looms large is whether Trudeau's carbon tax is truly a step towards environmental sustainability or a political ploy to prop up government revenues at the expense of the economic well-being of its citizens. In conclusion, the multifaceted impacts of Trudeau's carbon tax, from its effects on businesses and job creation to its alignment with Keynesian economic principles, present a complex tableau of economic challenges. As the nation navigates through these tumultuous economic waters, there is an urgent need for a more comprehensive and nuanced approach that considers the broader economic landscape. The narrative surrounding the carbon tax, with its potential to stifle economic growth and exacerbate inequalities, prompts a critical examination of policy decisions and their far-reaching consequences on the Canadian economy.